Well, the franchise that scarred us for life of airplanes, log trucks, roller coasters, race tracks, and bridges is back. Let's talk about Final Destination Bloodlines. Hey guys, welcome to my review of Final Destination Bloodlines. I am a huge fan of the franchise, and I can't wait to talk about this newest entry, but before I get into it, make sure that you have seen the film, because this will be a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen it, you're going to get spoiled here, so you might want to go see the film, and let me know what you think down in the comments, and you're going to hear my spoilery thoughts here in a second. So Final Destination is a franchise that I've really loved for a long time, and I was really excited for this movie because this is taking a very fresh new spin on the franchise where instead of a premonition happening through the main character, you have a premonition happening from the main character's grandmother who survived this accident that happened on this Skyview restaurant where the glass starts cracking beneath everybody and everyone's dancing, and then suddenly it breaks, everyone's falling through, pianos are flying off, all because this one dickhead kid could not resist throwing a coin off the side of a building, and it gets lodged, and that creates problems. It gets lodged in one of the parts of the tower. That creates problems, and then a cork pops, hits one of the chandeliers, that falls, the piece of chandelier breaks the part of the glass, and that's what makes it start to crack. But don't worry, that kid gets his comeuppance, because later on in the premonition, the piano drops and kills him. Yeah, and this kid's like 10 years old probably. Maybe not even. Yeah. This movie, within its first 15 to 20 minutes, fucking flattens a kid with a piano. I was like, alright, this is gonna be something awesome here. Just when you think this movie won't do something, it will. This movie somehow manages to be one of the funnier entries in the franchise. There's a lot of great comedy here, especially the one I enjoyed most is Eric, played by Richard, God, what is his name? Richard Harmon, maybe? I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but he plays Eric. He's actually the guy in the teaser trailer in the tattoo shop. Oh, but what I was saying is that this is one of the most funniest entries in the franchise, but it also manages to be one of the most cruel, if not the most cruel, entry into the franchise, because the ending is really mean. When the ending happened in this movie, I said, this movie is mean! We are following this family who are descendants of this grandma who survived this event that happened years and years ago in the 60s, and I thought that was really cool that we are getting Death taking lives at this event, or planning on taking lives at this event. She stops it, she gets in Death's way, she doesn't, Death doesn't like it when you fuck with his plans, like she says, and that started the chain where Death was going after every single person that survived that, and thus, those people went on to have children, and he takes those lives too because they were never meant to be. The characters, I actually did care about them a bit here. I haven't really felt much care for these characters since the very first one with Devon Sawa's character, Alex, and then you also have Clear in Final Destination 1 and 2. I have a bit of a soft spot for the main chick in 3 because it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And in this movie, you actually do kind of care about the family, because you're seeing this tragic event play out, where you're having the various family members die. Of course, the grandmother dies. The main character, Stephanie, goes to the house where she's got it all barricaded out, and she's been hiding out for years, which I thought was really entertaining to see someone that has actually been planning, how to get ahead and how to cheat Death for this many years. She's been staying in this place for decades, apparently. And she tells her main character, how Death works, how he's going to go down the line, he's not going to stop until you're all dead, and how she's been staying here to stay alive for so long. And she has this book where she has everything written down, like the flight that happened with Alex in Final Destination 1, you got the log truck, the roller, it's all in here. And I do wish they did dive into that a bit more, into the lore of the franchise, and have maybe an overarching effect where the people that survived that accident went on to have the characters that we follow throughout the franchise, but I get it. That would have been a bit too far-fetched for every single movie to have a connection right back to this one event. I get that, but there is a really cool connection that I'll get to in a second. that goes throughout the movie that leads back to this event that happened, the disaster at the Skyview Cafe. The granny dies. She gets the spinning sign thing with the rooster with the directions that goes through her mouth. There's a ton of great kills in this movie, even though the CGI does kind of weigh him down a bit. Now there is a great kill in the hospital where Eric, he survives the tattoo incident because he has a leather jacket on. He survives the fire. The place burns down, but he survives. And he goes on to try and help his brother because his brother's next on the list. Because their sister gets hit. She gets hit by a soccer ball into a trash can. The trash can gets dumped and she gets crushed in the compressor. Great kill there. Even though, once again, the CGI doesn't look the best here. I miss when these movies were more practical back in the first and second film. Not really digging the visual effects here. Sorry. The brother is given peanut butter because he has a peanut butter allergy, and they're like, if we kill you and bring you back, that'll break the chain, and death won't come after the rest of us. And Eric is actually not in danger of dying here because he is not related to them. He finds out that he was a part of an affair that his mother had with someone else, so he's not actually a part of the main bloodline that's being hunted, so he's not on Death's list. However, he is fucking with Death's plans, and if you fuck with Death, he's gonna fuck right back. So, he gets killed here trying to help stop Death's chain and kill his brother, and then bring him back to life. The brother does get the EpiPen, but that's only after Eric gets pulled into this MRI machine that gets hit and turned on, and it starts sucking all the rings and all that out of him, even his dick. He has a ring on his dick, apparently, because it starts pulling his dick, and he flies towards the machine as a wheelchair that's behind him hits him, and they both fly into the machine, and then his stomach, it is fucking brutal. He gets pulled into the MRI machine, crushed, the pieces of wheelchair get pierced through his torso and stab him, and he dies, and that was incredibly gruesome, even with the visual effect. But to be fair, the visual effects on that one probably looked the best, I'll be honest. Tony Todd shows up, and this is probably my favorite scene in the film, because he basically gives a final farewell to the audience. This was not a scripted thing. He's like, life is precious, and life is a beautiful thing, and you have to go out there and enjoy it while you can. So that's what he's going to do, because he's next on Death's list, because he actually is a survivor of the restaurant from the 60s, Bloodsworth, that has been in these movies forever. Tony Todd has been showing up in these movies as Bloodsworth since the very first movie. I think there's only maybe one he's not in, and one he's in he has like a voice line in 3, I think. Here he shows up and he has a connection all the way back to this 1960s incident. He survived, and Death has been coming for all these people around him, and they've been coming to him for advice for years. And it's finally his turn because he was next on the list for those survivors. So he's going to die, sadly, but he does give a final farewell to the audience. This was his final performance. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. Absolute fucking legend. I love Tony Todd. Everything he did, I loved it. Candyman, Final Destination, just everything he did. His voice work, iconic. So rest in peace to him. Love that scene. The third act is a bit rushed, because after he tells them how to beat death, you have to die, and then someone has to bring you back. We get this third act where they're going to the grandma's house. Their mother sadly dies, but Stephanie ends up being drowned and then brought back to life by her brother Charlie, played by T. O'Brien's, who I know from the Chucky series. He played Junior in Season 1. He brings her back to life, supposedly, breaking the chain, Death's chain. But then the ending, where these coins, this movie makes you afraid of coins. This granny that picks up a coin earlier in the film, she drops it going to pay for some lemonade. It rolls onto these rails, and as these rails are sliding over to connect so the train can go, it gets lodged by this coin, and that throws the train off, and it fucking kills Stephanie and Charlie, because they did not technically bring her back to life. If she was only partially unconscious, and he brought her back to life because she never stopped breathing. And then before you know it, the train starts coming at them, and you think they survive it, and then something else hits, and boom. 2 big logs come out and crush both of them, ending the film. Great stuff. Such a mean movie. Such a mean way to end this movie, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. Sure, the pacing, like I said, the third act's a bit rushed. We kind of go, from beat to beat to beat. We don't get too much characterization or build up in this last third act. The visual effects I wish were polished a bit more. Didn't look very good in certain places. But overall, I had a great time with Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely not my favorite of the franchise. It's probably maybe third or fourth on the franchise ranking for me. But let me know where you rank it on the franchise. What did you think of Final Destination Bloodlines? Tell me down in the comments below. And yeah, until next time, take care and goodbye.